Another one for Alan. It's a very, very raucous crowd this morning. It must be very, very early. We touched on earlier, Alan, when we were having a chat beforehand around the pigs, and they were touched on in one of the focus groups at Myer. And we're talking about the fact that we're not hearing that much out of the EU at the moment about the big problems, but the reality is that those big problems are still there. Do you want to express a view on, and you did touch on it in your presentation, about the potential impact those problems may still have on the global economy?
Well, they have a problem in Australia because Australians are very sensitive to something going to blow up overseas. And our central bank governor a couple of years ago said that the Australians are more worried about the Greek economy than the Greeks are. And it's true. I was in London recently on work, and I was amazed that you had all these hedge funds buying and selling Greek bonds and Spanish bonds, which is just crazy. It's almost like this didn't happen, or it's no longer. It's still got those problems, and I worry that in the medium term, that there's no solution for this. That you're going to have extremism, left, right, religious, whatever, because the kids are not committed to the society. They don't have a job. And so I really still worry about that, but I suppose what's sort of happening is that the big guys, the Frances, etc., are now starting to grow. One issue that hasn't really come up recently in the press is that particularly France has been reporting some absolutely lousy numbers, and Italy is also not doing great. So there's a little bit of concern about the core at present, but back to my hardship post in Paris, one of the things I'm really pleased about was I had the offer to stay and live permanently in France, at the OECD, and I had 2 kids who were there, and I brought them back home because I wanted my kids to be Australian. I'm really pleased about that because at least they got a chance to get a job, whereas you go to Spain, there's no way you're going to get a job. No matter how good you are, if you're really good in the finance industry, you get a job in London. So I think it's a slow burn. I don't know how it gets fixed. And I think it's a really good example of why you never want to get into a major recession. Do whatever you can to get out of it. Don't let it happen. So if I go back, when people talk about, we spent too much money during the global financial crisis, we spent nothing compared to what we would have had if we had 12, 15% unemployment.